G'day everybody, Max right here and welcome to another video. So it's going to be a little bit of a different kind of a video this time. So please let me know in the comments below if you like this style of video. It's kind of a little bit random. I was at a dinner party recently and was just basically selling a bleeding heart liberal on capitalism. And a buddy of mine was just sitting there watching it, smirking away, and was like, you should really do a video on what just happened then. And so this video, a little bit outside the realm of what I normally do here, is how to sell a bleeding heart liberal on capitalism. And so this is how it kind of went down. By the way, I do not advise that you send this video to your bleeding heart liberal. That's not, I'm speaking to friends in the world who understand capitalism and get it and whatever. And I'm going to teach you how I did it so that you can do it. And that's going to be the focus of this video and kind of let you know how it went down. And I think a lot of people, I remember Ben Shapiro saying this during a Q&A actually. Someone was like, how do you get over like just bleeding heart liberals just talking about how they're saving lives and stuff like that? And his response was, you got to go to the philosophy. You got to talk about how it's immoral to the concept of theft and advocating to steal someone's wealth and their productivity and give to someone else is immoral. And it is a good strategy, but it's kind of like if you're in a fight, that's just going for the knockout blow straight away. And I found it does not really work. A bleeding heart liberal will have the feeling, the concept, they will feel that there is so much, they're doing so much good that all they can get past, look, I'm feeding a person, I'm saving a person from dying of starvation, so yeah, I'm willing to steal for it. And there's kind of a justified argument in that. So it doesn't really get past that problem. But there is a way to get past of it, and the way is to just lead with a couple of jabs before you go for that knockout blow to take away that concept from them that they're saving lives, they're doing things, they're actually helping, because hopefully you guys know that they're not. And it's actually a lot easier than you think because they already know it, you just have to point it out to them. So here's how it kind of looks. Again, still speaking to you. At the end, I'll do kind of like a mock situation about how I would actually say it to them. But still speaking to you guys, pretty much every liberal understands that that capitalism is a more efficient system. It creates more wealth. It's, the wealthiest countries in the world are always capitalists. The most free countries always have the highest standard of living. No one disputes that. But what they're saying is, I'm willing to trade some freedoms. I want to give up some freedoms to help the needy, whatever their cause is. It could be talking about educating children. We want free education for all our kids. We want housing. We want food. We want to help the homeless. We want all these things, right? I'm willing to trade some efficiencies so that, yeah, some middle class people and some upper class people, yeah, their standard of living drops a little bit and theirs goes up. And I'm willing to make that sacrifice, and I'm even willing to steal to do that. That's usually where they don't get past the fact that they're helping this person. But what if we could just show to them that they're hurting 100, 1,000, 10,000 people in the same act as then they're helping this one person? Once that is removed, then you just explain to them that they're being immoral in the act of the theft. And then it makes perfect sense that immoral acts have negative consequences, and it all makes sense to them. That's what I found, and that's how it worked out of this dinner conversation. So again, usually they know exactly that they're making this trade-off. You don't need to convince them of it. So just let them talk, whatever they're talking about. And then you just want to say back to them. So I just want to understand, just to make sure I've got your argument correct. You understand that capitalism is, you're not arguing, that's how I did it. So you're not advocating for, like, you don't want to go full Soviet Union. You don't want like a centrally planned economy. You don't want that. You recognize that, capitalism and free markets create wealth, and we've got all the historical data to prove that. It creates more wealth than any other system that we know. But you're saying it's a bit heartless, and there needs to be some safety nets for the poor, for the needy, for the whatever. And you're willing to sacrifice some efficiencies. You're willing to sacrifice some instances in where the pie gets bigger in order to help those, the least fortunate of us. And that is a sacrifice you're willing to make. You're not saying that socialism's the tits. You're not saying that we should go full Venezuela, full Soviet Union, full 1950s China. You're not saying that. You're saying you want some kind of a mix. You recognize the need for it because it creates wealth and is efficient, but let's sacrifice a little bit of that to help here. Generally, they say yes at this point. That is what they believe. Maybe some of the more diehard ones, you might need to press a little bit further. You can go and say, like, you understand that in a capitalist society, what it's doing is all transactions are a win-win. There is, in social societies, there's win-lose. But again, you're getting a little bit messy. All we want them to concede at this point is that they're sacrificing efficiency to help somebody. And that's it. You've won the argument at that point, because they're going to lose everything that they have. So from here, you can do it a whole bunch of ways, a whole bunch of things, but what they're not taking into account is the ravages of time, and just how long, the time span that we have. On a long enough time span, this just becomes the biggest no-brainer that they'll ever do. So there's a plane in New York and it's heading off to, let's say it's in, let's say it's in Los Angeles, because we're going left or right. So there's a plane in Los Angeles, and if a plane takes off, two planes take off just a few degrees apart, by the time they get to the East Coast, it's the difference between ending up in New York and Florida. Because, so the longer that time goes on, the bigger the changes that occur the further out. So that's kind of what we're going to hang our hat on here. And we're saying, okay, what you are saying and what you've telling me, because I've just confirmed with you that this is your thought, is that you're willing to sacrifice efficiency to save some people. But what is the cost over time of that efficiency, right? We know that there's, in the last 100 years, the sum total of human knowledge that they created just in the last 100 years is greater than the sum total of all human knowledge in the previous 10,000 years, right? It's very much a hockey stick scenario. We grow. It's an exponential thing. Wealth accumulates and grows. You can even explain to them why that is. The greater the savings pool, and the more savings we have, the more people can stop doing what's needed to survive, i.e., grow food and farm. We can build up a reserve of food, i.e., we have savings. Now we can come back over here and develop a tool which makes us more efficient. We can come back, create our necessities even more, housing, food, whatever. We do it more efficiently. We have even more spare time. We now have savings. We come over here and create another tool, another invention, another something that increases our productivity. And that's why it's exponential. You can explain that to them if they want, but they probably get that already anyway. So, stealing efficiency in the present for the sake of helping someone that is needy right now, again, it's just dismissed in their mind. They haven't thought it all the way through. But over the course of time, how many millions and billions of people are going to go through health issues? What cures are not discovered because the efficiencies of the market were not allowed to propagate over 10, 20, 30, 40 years? So that we have health concerns. How many people weren't educated? How many kids didn't get great education because the schools were underfunded? How many people starved? Worldwide, how many people starved because we didn't make the pie big enough, as big as we could in a fast amount of time? How many people were homeless? And you start adding up, you start looking over the horizon and introduce the element of time to sacrificing efficiency, and you end up coming to this one conclusion. It's like the one person that you helped today by increasing taxes, stealing more money from productive people, giving it to the person who is in need. Yes, you've helped this person, no doubt. I would argue that, but that's not useful in winning this argument. You've helped this person, you've stolen efficiency, and now we are on two different trajectories in terms of progress and efficiency. My question is, 10 years out, 20 years out, 30 years out, 40 years out, how many people died of starvation that if they had been left at capitalists and the markets and the situation was more efficient, the pie got bigger, how much fewer people died on this version compared to this version? Because they sacrificed efficiency to save this person. So they acknowledge there's two different trajectories here over the course of time. So now the question becomes, why is this person's life worth less than this person? And the answer, there's simply no answer to that. This is more visceral. It's right here. You can walk past the homeless guy in the street and see it. And you see this guy. This guy is in the future. It takes intellect, it takes wisdom. I definitely wouldn't use that word. Don't challenge their intellect. That's not going to help you be persuasive. I'm still speaking to you guys. It takes wisdom to see over the horizon, but your job as a communicator is to make these people's death and these people's misery and these people's suffering and experiencing this gap, make that as visceral as the person that they walk down the street and see the homeless person. Once they see all of these lives, all of this starvation, all of this ill health, all of this lack of knowledge, all of this lack of productivity, once they see that as real, they realize that the attempt to save this person the cost was too high. And so now you've led with the jab, they've lost the moral superiority of, I'm helping people and I'm willing to, that a few more billionaires are going to have less Ferraris. So what? We helped this guy from starving to death and it was worth it. That's not what you did. What you did was you murdered, over the course of 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years, how many tens of thousands of people did you murder through starvation, through cures for diseases not being found, through lack of healthcare, through lack of education? How many tens of thousands of people did you murder over thousands of years to save this person? That's the argument. Then, once the defenses are down, and they're like, there is no moral superiority on this. I'm just selfishly wanting to feel good because I can see the person that I helped, and I'm ignoring all the people that I hurt because I can't see them. Once that's gone, now you explain the moral argument, which is, you're just a thief. You're advocating using men with guns to go and say, hey, give me your money. If not, I'm going to throw you in jail, i.e. pay your taxes, or men with guns will come and grab you and put you in a cage because I want you to support my pet cause. And so you're willing to be immoral. You're willing to advocate theft in order to kill thousands of people that you can't see and save one. That was the argument that I used at the dinner party, and it just left the bleeding heart. They were absolutely passionately bleeding heart. They didn't change their mind. They never do during the conversation, by the way. Like, you can usually see, and you never push it. The conversation's one, to steal Bill Burr, just take a knee and run out the clock. The conversation is one, it's over. They're not going to admit it during the conversation. Very few people can do that. They've been this way for their whole life. The seed is planted. All they need to do is go away and think about it. Sometime 6 months from now, all of a sudden you'll find out that they believe in capitalism, something like that. So that's the method I use. It's for whatever, it's an interesting one. It's like I said, it's a different type of video for this channel. Normally I talk about wealth creation, Bitcoin, the economy, Austrian economics, all kind of stuff. This one we got into a little bit of philosophy. I hope you liked it. And guys, I'm sorry that I did not have, there's been a little bit of a break since the last video and I haven't been making them as often. I want to confess, I was just struggling for ideas to create videos for you. So I want to ask you, what kind of videos would you like? And let me throw some, just in the comments, just let me know. I'm going to give you some ideas, but don't hold yourself to my ideas. If you've got your own ideas, let me know in the comments. And please read through other people's ideas, and if you like it, upvote it. That way I know what kind of videos you want the most. So some ideas for you though. We can talk more about economics, especially in an election year. I find that's really fun. So in the next few months, people are going to be coming up with, oh, we should raise minimum wage. We should, all the weird and wonderful things they normally come up with. We can talk about any of those specific issues. I love talking about that. I love teaching it. We can talk about, I can do more of a news thing. So, once a week I can go through all the news headlines and just talk about what that actually means in terms of the wealth cycles and where we are in that. What's going to happen to the economy as a result of all these interventions of the Fed and the government and all the new strategies from our politicians. That's so more of a going through news ones. That's one option. And then another option, we can just keep it more on Bitcoin news, crypto news, those kinds of things, and talk more about those kinds of asset classes. Also more about gold and silver. Again, you let me know what you guys want. Also, tell me if you're liking the Q&As. I can always do more Q&As, and if you have questions, go ahead, put them in the answers below, in the comments below. And guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you soon.